Hey everybody, this is Mike with Free Roaming Hiker, and today I'm talking to you about why you really don't need to worry about encountering a bear on a trail while hiking in bear country. In fact, when hiking in bear country, knowing that bears are in the area is just part of the experience. Technically, they could be anywhere. But to put your mind at ease, I'm going to share with you some do's and don'ts that I've learned over the years that help me stay calm while hiking in bear country, as well as why, assuming you use a little bit of common sense, you really have nothing to worry about. So please like this video if you enjoy it, subscribe to get more tips like this, as well as a lot of other information on other hikes. So first, we're going to discuss what not to do. Number one, and this is pretty much a universally major annoyance to pretty much any hiker I've spoken to, do not play music on the trail. This is a big one for multiple reasons, and once we get through that, then we'll move on to number two. Most importantly, music doesn't really deter bears. Music itself doesn't produce the kinds of sounds that alarm bears to let them know that a person is nearby or approaching. In addition, the majority of people hiking any trail, especially in bear country, are out there to enjoy the quiet and the natural soundtrack. Hearing someone else's music, whether they like your taste in music or not, it completely disrupts that and it disconnects them from their own experience of being outside in the wilderness. On top of that, you become less aware of your own surroundings. When you have music playing, you likely won't hear that branch snapping just a couple dozen yards away that would otherwise let you know that a bear or something else like a moose was even in the area. And it should go without saying, for this very reason, you should never hike with headphones or earbuds in your ears. This severely limits your awareness of your surroundings and can cause even worse problems than not. And finally, playing music disrupts communication between smaller animals such as birds and squirrels because the music begins to drown out their own calls and communication with each other. So as you can see, there's a lot of good reasons not to play music on the trail, and there's really not a good one to play music on the trail. So it is an important one, and that's why it was the first one I brought up. So please just refrain from playing music on the trail and learn to appreciate the sounds of nature, because that's essentially half the hiking experience. Number two, don't use bear bells. Put simply, they don't work. Why, you might ask? Because not only for the same reasons that music doesn't affect them, but also bears don't really care if it's Christmas time or not. And yes, that was an attempt at humor. So then why do so many places sell bear bells? Because people buy them. Number three, and this is where common sense starts to play in. If you do see a bear, don't try to take a selfie with it. This really shouldn't need an explanation, but just in case, bears, just like people, have a personal bubble. Just like you wouldn't want a stranger walking up to you and taking a selfie with you, bears really don't want that either. Not only that, but bears don't know your intentions. If you start walking up to a bear or even close enough to take a selfie with it, the bear will very likely get defensive, and that's when things don't go the way you want them to. Even if the bear just walks away, you're basically breaking that bear's meal and forcing it to use energy it wouldn't have to use to go find another meal somewhere else. And so this leads straight into number four. Don't walk up to them and stick a camera in their face. And this is for the same reason. It's that whole personal bubble thing. And you might say, oh, well, what about all these photos you're showing off where it looks like you stuck a camera in the bear's face? The way I get these shots is that I bring a pretty decent telephoto lens with me whenever I go hiking. And admittedly, some of these aren't always from the trail. But if I do see a bear on the trail, I make sure I'm a respectful distance away, I'm not disturbing it, and then I try to get a shot of it. Again, using a telephoto lens so as to not invade its personal space. If you're only using your phone to try to get a close-up shot of a bear, don't expect that Nat Geo quality close-up of an animal that could rip your leg off. Phones aren't designed to take close-up pictures of things from far away. That's what a telephoto lens is for. So if you're using your phone, get what you can, but don't try to get too close to a bear because bad things will happen. So that's the list of things you shouldn't do. So now we're going to look at things that you should do. And we'll start with the last point from what you shouldn't do. Bears just want to be left alone, so give them space. If you start getting into their personal bubble, they will react defensively because, as mentioned, they don't know your intentions, and so they'll assume the worst case scenario. Giving a bear space lets them know that you're not out to threaten them, but rather you're just another animal passing through the woods. If you can convey that with body language, then most bears won't have a problem with you. So what is a safe distance then? Both Grand Teton and Yellowstone National Parks recommend at least 100 yards. Now, sometimes in the backcountry, this just isn't possible. So the most important thing is if you can't get around the bear safely or you can't give it that space, just back up and give them space. A lot of times the bear is just passing through, so you can just wait for them to leave the area. If they are foraging and feeding, you'll just have to use a little patience until they move a safe distance away. Number two, don't sneak through thick brush. In a lot of the woods out here, you can see pretty well. Visibility is not too bad through a lot of the forests and trees. But frequently, trails go through some areas that have pretty low visibility thanks to some denser ground brush and vegetation. In this case, you can just start to make a little noise. You don't have to be obnoxiously loud. If you're hiking with someone, even just general conversation is enough to let a bear know that you're in the area and approaching. And if they have a problem with you, they'll move off. If you're hiking alone, a lot of times I start shouting out just a simple, "Hey bear," a little bit louder than my normal volume, and that also is enough to let them know. That way, you don't surprise them when you come up on them just a few feet away. Number three, always carry bear spray and have it ready to use. The whole point of bear spray is to have it easily accessible and ready to use at a moment's notice if you wind up getting caught in an unfortunate worst case scenario. So leaving it inside your backpack or even attached to it somewhere is completely useless. You might as well just leave it in the car. Bears attack much quicker than you can reach for it behind your back, or even worse, unpack it, take the safety off, aim it properly, and then discharge it. Carry bear spray and have it ready to use. I typically wear a lot of cargo shorts and cargo pants, and I leave it in the side pocket so that I can just grab it at a moment's notice. And as I lift it up, that's when I can slide the safety off if I ever run into a situation where that needs to happen. And so that's a short list of things that you should do. To this day, I've been hiking in bear country for about 15 years now, and I have never had to use my bear spray. I've had the safety off as a precautionary measure in certain situations, but because I've been following all these rules, I have never had to use it, and I've never found myself in a situation where I felt like I was in real danger. And adding on to that, here's why you really don't need to worry about bears to begin with. The average bear, by nature, both black and grizzly, is skittish. If they know you're coming up the trail, they will frequently scatter and find a safe place until you're gone. Think of it this way. A bear doesn't know where its next meal is coming from, so it is always on the search for food, which of course is energy. And a bear is never certain that it's going to win in a fight against you, and so it's not going to risk spending a whole bunch of energy fighting you if it doesn't know that it can win. On top of that, grizzly bears want nothing to do with people or commotion. This means that trails, especially if they're popular trails, are not reliable places to run into a grizzly bear. You're more likely to see a grizzly bear in Yellowstone National Park on a trail. In that case, just follow all these rules and you should be fine. Black bears can still be seen along many of the trails in the area, but they've also learned that they're sharing these trails with other humans. As long as they're left alone and respected in the ways discussed here, they have no problem with you walking by at a respectful distance without any harassment. So whether black or grizzly, just give them the respect that they deserve. You shouldn't have any trouble or need to worry. Of course, you do hear about somebody getting into trouble with a bear, and this does happen from time to time. In these cases, likely something was being done that they shouldn't have done. They might have been sneaking around the woods and not making enough noise. And then there's the really rare and unfortunate encounter where a cub might run across the trail in front of you. While this is a possibility, it's not very likely at all. Your timing has to be ridiculously bad in order for that to happen. That's not to say it doesn't happen, but even to people it does happen to, they'll acknowledge it was just really bad timing. In general, just give bears the respect they deserve and use a little bit of common sense, and you really shouldn't have any problem with them. So I hope you found that helpful and useful. And if you did, please like and subscribe. And if you have any other questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. And I thank you for watching and happy trails.